Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fireside Stargazer. I've been having this kind of energy settle on me lately, and I'm wondering if maybe anyone else might be going through something similar, or it's possible that you might be experiencing the same energy. So I find maybe it's best to share it with you. But I woke up with this feeling of suddenly this kind of peace. Actually, it's hard to put into words, but I'll do my best. As we navigate all of this together, you will find that I will be learning to articulate my thoughts much better with you. So thank you so much for being here with me and helping me to grow in this area. But this morning, a peace settled over me. Maybe you're going through a transition right now that is a bit shaky, or you've been waking up over the past few days or weeks feeling this pull in your gut of whether or not you're moving in the right direction. And after this morning's peace that settled upon me, I'm here to tell you that that feeling will start to settle, or maybe has already settled, and you're going in the right direction. What's happening, or what's been happening right now, is when we move from one life into the next, from one way of living into the next way of living, we are stepping out of one box or one container and into another that can fit our growth, like a plant being repotted into a bigger plant, into a bigger pot so that we can grow. And that's what's been happening lately. And sometimes that feeling of ungroundedness, that feeling of, am I doing the best thing for me? Am I going in the right direction? It's that space between being transferred from the smaller pot to the bigger pot. As you're being held, seed, soil, roots, and plants. In between those two spaces. And in that space is where we let ourselves just be in those hands and know that we are held. We don't have to do anything. We just have to know that we're held. We just have to trust that we are held as we make this journey from the previous self to the next self. And I know it feels uncomfortable. You're basically suspended in midair, just to give you a visual, in the hands of the gardener, whether you want to believe that is God or the universe, whatever you would like to call it. You are being held and transferred in to the next pot. And usually what happens is, throughout our lives, we go through this same pattern of growth throughout our entire lives. Where the piece came down today, where it landed was, or why it landed, was because I had this vision of where I saw the box. or the container that we all put ourselves in throughout our lifetime. And as we go along, we find that if we choose to, we are constantly expanding beyond the limits that perhaps we set for ourselves, perhaps limits that our family set for us, that we believed we were or that we are. So we contorted ourselves to fit into this box, to this container, whatever you want to visualize, that's okay. But for the purposes of this video, I'll say box. For some of you, it might have been when you were younger, your family might have had, or the people around you might have had a certain narrative that they placed on you of who you were, whether you were the black sheep in the family, whether you were the kind of the one with their heads in the clouds all the time. Perhaps you liked ideas that ventured outside of the pool of ideas within your family unit, and that was seen as something outlandish or a bit too far in the clouds, even if it was a philosophical or scientific subject, something artistic. It was treated as something strange and not well accepted. Even if you did have a supportive family, it wasn't. They did the best with what they had, and even though they were still supportive, there was still this part of them that treated you like maybe there was just, you were maybe just too much. Your ideas, they were just too far out there. And you just continued to move throughout life, to find people who heard those ideas and added to them, who brought you into another container that said, I like those ideas, or tell me more about those ideas, or let's build a community together, based on your likes, your beliefs, things like that. You build your own community, you find a space that fits who you are or who you are becoming. So you venture and you leave that box of older beliefs and narratives that were held about you, and you move into this other place where you are more fully embodied. And we go throughout this same kind of journey throughout life. And at some point, I suppose as we start to get older, we start to move a bit faster. So we forget to slow down and honor that transition, honor that journey from one container into the next, one that can fit you. We forget the stillness that is required in order to just be in that space before you go into that new container for growth. And so this is just your reminder that things might feel a little chaotic right now, like ungrounded. Like, what do I latch onto? What do I grab onto to just have a little bit of peace? And I'm here to remind you that you just have to trust that you are being held in that space and simply being asked to acknowledge that you have grown, that you are growing, to reflect and look at the box you were trying to fit yourself into that you no longer fit into. And to look onto the container that you're now moving into, this newer version of who you are. It might be a little more demanding, or maybe take a little more time. But it doesn't mean you will feel less peace. It just means it is there to encourage your growth so that you can continue to expand. So, in case you've been trying to figure out ways to not feel what you're feeling, perhaps it's a small wave of anxiety, a small wave of doubt of should I or shouldn't I? But what if I had stayed? What if I don't go? What if, like, this moment in the in between, it's asking you to trust and also to allow yourself to think in the better direction, not the better direction, that's not the right word. But a lot of the times when we are leading with fear, or when we're used to letting fear kind of take the forefront of our lives, we tend to first think of the what ifs, or we tend to prepare ourselves for the worst and expect the best, kind of. But this is a moment where it's a time to practice feeling worthy of even thinking about the best possible case scenario only. Like, instead of, what if I don't like the new place? Or what if what if it's too much time? What if I don't like my new coworkers? Or what if I don't like these new people? Allow yourself to feel worthy of thinking in the direction of abundance. Because when we think like this, when we think of, what if I don't like my coworkers? What if I don't like the new people in this new place? We're actually thinking from a mindset of lack. And why? Why would you think or believe that you deserve that lack? You don't deserve that. So why would you walk into that space, even in your mind? Because you do not deserve that. And I'm here to remind you that you don't. You deserve to walk into a place where you are loved, where you are held and supported, where you are stretched in a way that promotes your growth, that nourishes you, that challenges you in a way that leads you on to your next journey. Like maybe this, let's say it's a job, and let's say this new job is just a little bit more demanding. But that job goes on to teach you many things and gives you the courage to start your own business. So I'm here to remind you that you are worthy of thinking in abundance. So instead of, what if I don't like my coworkers? What if I love my coworkers? What if my new best friend is in that new place? What if I find the love of my life there? What if this allows me to take on new challenges that I didn't even think I was capable of before? What if this gives me the courage to do something else that I didn't even think I was capable of? What if, and I can, pardon me, I'm a little congested getting over a lovely winter's cold. So what I'm saying is, allow yourself to think in abundance for a change, because you deserve that too. Some of you may be coming out of survival as well, where this is new territory for you, thinking in abundance. Because if you've been living in survival, we're taught to always expect prepare for the worst and expect the best. But how about prepare for the best. And that's it. This is giving yourself permission to prepare for the best, because you deserve the best. You are worthy of the best. And if you've been in survival, then you are used to having to navigate difficult, challenging territories, uncomfortable places that were meant to strengthen you. Yes, they were all part of the process that brought you here to a place where you know you finally deserve the best. That is what they were teaching you. And especially now over Christmas, whether you're spending it with people or whether you're not, I'm here to remind you that even then, you deserve the best. Whether that's a little more rest, whether that's a little more time with family. If you're someone who's not spending time with anyone over this, because this is during the Christmas break, but of course, this might come to you at any time. So I'll just say, like, whether you're on your own right now, in a moment of retreat within to the self, and you're not around a lot of people, allow yourself to feel worthy of the peace that comes with that, with the rest that comes with that. Give yourself moments to truly treat yourself as well. And if you're someone who is surrounded by a lot of people, allow yourself to have fruitful, nourishing conversations with those people. And if there are those that are not supportive of your journey, allow yourself to question even, or to say, I deserve better. If there are people that are not supporting you in your journey, oftentimes it is nothing malicious, it is nothing that is bad, but there are people that will be uncomfortable with seeing you outside of your previous box. There are people that want you to grow at their pace. And sometimes this can land in the form of someone not wanting you to, let's say, grow into certain, like if it's a career, it's someone who doesn't want you to grow too fast into certain leadership positions. If it's personal, it's something where people don't want you to take those courses, or because you won't be spending enough time with them, things like that. Some people are not comfortable seeing you outside of that box, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. It just might mean that you're going in different directions, and all you can do is learn to let them go with love. And always remember that boundaries do not equal abandonment. You know? So that's your reminder. I don't know why that came in, but that's a reminder for someone that boundaries don't equal abandonment. You stepping out of your box will be uncomfortable for a lot of people, because there are a lot of people who love you, who like you, but they love and like you in that box. To see you any bigger makes them uncomfortable, because it means they might have to grow where they're not ready to grow, or they might have to think about things differently where they're not ready to think about things differently yet. It just means they might be going about their journey at a different pace, and that's okay. And we need to acknowledge, respect, and embrace that with love. So I do hope that you have a wonderful day, and that you learn to think in the direction of abundance, because you deserve abundance. You are worthy of abundance. and you are loved, and you are held. Now I hope you have a wonderful day and a peaceful, peaceful evening.